Republic of Turkey was founded in 1923 by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, replacing the dynastic and theocratic Ottoman system with its sultanates and caliphates. The new republic was based on a secular, democratic, pluralist, and parliamentary system. In 1945, Turkey joined the UN and became a member of NATO in 1952. Turkey occupied the northern portion of Cyprus in 1974 to prevent a Greek takeover of the island. Relations between the two countries remain strained. Periodic military offenses against Kurdish separatists have displaced part of the population in southeastern Turkey and provoked international condemnation. In recent years, Turkey has become a major tourist destination in Europe. The Republic of Turkey is located on the Anatolian Peninsula in the Western Asia and a small enclave in Thrace in the Balkan region of Southeast Europe. Turkey has a coastline of the Mediterranean Sea in the south and east and on the Black Sea in the north. It borders Armenia, Iran and Azerbaijan in the east, Georgia in the northeast, Bulgaria and Greece in the northwest, and Iraq and Syria in the southeast. Turkey covers an area of 7,83,562 km. The country is more than twice the size of Germany or slightly smaller than the US states of Texas and Louisiana combined. Turkey has a population of 83.2 million people as per survey of 2020. The largest city is Istanbul and national capital is Ankara. Spoken languages of Turkey is Turkish, Kurdish, which is spoken by Kurdish people, and Arabic, which is spoken by Turkish Arabs. Turkey is a republic since 1923. According to Article 2 of the Constitution, Turkey is a democratic, secular, and social constitutional state. The current president is Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The president is directly elected by the absolute majority of popular vote. He is both chief of state and head of government. In April 2017 referendum, voters voted by a narrow majority to transform the parliamentary government system that has existed since 1920 into a presidential system. Turkey can be subdivided into 7 major geographical regions. Turkey has hundreds of private TV and radio stations that compete with the state broadcaster TRT. But the witch hunt by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's government against its media critics came to a head after the failed coup in July 2016. After the elimination of dozens of media outlets and the acquisitions of Turkey's biggest media group by a pro-government conglomerate, the authorities are tightening their grip on what little is left of pluralism. A handful of media outlets that are being harassed and marginalized. Turkey is the world's biggest jailer of professional journalists. Hrant Dink worked in Agas, killed in Istanbul, Turkey on January 19, 2007. On January 19, 2007, Hrant Dink, aged 52, managing editor of the bilingual Turkish-Armenian weekly Agas, was shot outside his newspaper's office in Istanbul. Ahmet Taner Kislali worked in Cumhuriyet, killed in Ankara, Turkey on October 21, 1999. Kislali, a regular columnist for the daily Cumhuriyet, was killed in a bomb attack in front of his suburban home in the capital, Ankara. He was pronounced dead on arrival at a local hospital after reportedly sustaining shrapnel wounds to his face and chest. His left arm was also torn off. Azil Malkak worked in Asgor Gondem, killed in Istanbul, Turkey on August 7, 1993. Malkak, a 23-year-old correspondent of Asgor Gondem, disappeared after leaving the newspaper's main office in Istanbul. Staff members suspect that the police took her because there was a heavy police presence around the building. Officials denied holding her. Cengiz Altan worked in Yeni Ülke, killed in Batman, Turkey on February 24, 1992. Altun, a correspondent for the weekly newspaper Yeni Olke, was shot 5 times in the back of the head while he was on his way to work in Batman. The newspaper's editor said that Altun received death threats before his murder. Saitin Abaye worked in Oscar Hall, killed in Batman, Turkey on July 29, 1992. An unknown gunman shot Abaye, the Batman representative of the monthly Oscar Hall, with a single bullet while he was on his way to work in the morning. He died the following day. Sihan Hayar Sevener worked in Gune Marmara Diyasam, killed in Bandirma, Turkey on December 19, 2009. On December 19, 2009, Sihan Hayar Sevener, aged 53, founder and editor of the daily Gune Marmara Diyasam, was shot 3 times in the leg while walking to his office in the town of Bandirma, northeast of Istanbul, at about 3 pm. According to news reports and CPJ interviews, he died later that day at the Uludağ University Hospital in Bursa. Erol Akun worked in Devremisi Kozum, killed in Gebze, Turkey on September 8, 1994. Akun, editor-in-chief of the left-wing weekly Devremisi Kozum, was killed by unidentified assailants as he left his home in Gebze near Istanbul. His colleagues at the paper believe a rival left-wing faction killed him because he was the weekly's editor. Faris Hamadi worked in Eye on the Homeland, killed in Urfa, Turkey on October 13, 2015. Syrian journalist Faris Hamadi was killed along with his colleague Ibrahim Abdul Qadir in an apartment in Urfa, southeastern Turkey on October 30, 2015. Hamadi was head of the production department for the Eye on the Homeland, a Syrian news website, according to a statement on the group's Facebook page. Ferhat Tepe worked in Ozgur Gondem, killed in Bitlis, Turkey on July 28, 1993. Tepe, Ozgur Gondem's Bitlis correspondent, disappeared when he was reportedly forced to get into a car after he left his father's shop in the center of Bitlis. Although several teams of police were seen patrolling the streets at the time, they denied any knowledge of the incident. On July 29, a caller claimed that a group called the Ottoman Turkish Revenge Brigade was holding the journalist. Hafiz Akdemir worked in Ozgur Gondem, killed in Diyarbakir, Turkey on June 8, 1992. Akdemir, a correspondent in the Diyarbakir's office of the daily Ozgur Gondem, was shot with a single bullet of the head while he was on his way home from work. Hala Barakat worked in Orient Net, killed in Istanbul, Turkey. His body found on September 21, 2017. The motive of murder is unconfirmed. CPJ is investigating to determine whether the death was work-related or not. Syrian-American journalist Hala Barakat and her mother, Syrian opposition activist Oruba Barakat, were found dead in their Istanbul apartment on September 21, 2017. Hossein Deniz worked in Ozgur Gondem, killed in Ceylanpınar, Turkey on August 9, 1992. Deniz, a columnist for the daily newspaper Ozgur Gondem, was attacked while on his way to the office in Ceylanpınar, Urfa province. 2 people approached him, one from the left and one from the right. A third person, the gunman, came from behind and shot 1 bullet into his neck. Ibrahim Abdul Qadir worked in Eye on the Homeland. Raqqa is being slaughtered silently and killed in Urfa, Turkey on October 30, 2015. Syrian journalist Ibrahim Abdul Qadir was killed along with his colleague Faris Hamadi in an apartment in Urfa, southeastern Turkey on October 30, 2015. Isaac Kazar worked on Sabah, killed in Kayseri, Turkey on March 23, 1992. Kaiser, an Ankara-based journalist from the Istanbul Daily Sabah, was killed when he was hit in the head by gunfire during security force operations in Cizre. Qadri Bogdu worked in Azadiya Velat, killed in Adana, Turkey on October 14, 2014. He was a media support worker since 2003. CPJ has documented the death of vital media employees such as translators, drivers, fixers, and administrative workers. Bogdu, aged 46, was shot multiple times by two unidentified men on a motorcycle who approached him from the back, according to local reports. Kamal Kelik worked in Ozgorgondem, killed in Kolon's village, Turkey on February 25, 1993. Kelik, Urfa correspondent for the newspaper Ozgorgondem, was shot and killed by an unknown assailant in Kolon's village near the city of Urfa. Mesut Akun worked in Yeniolke, killed in Nusaybin, Turkey on June 2, 1992. The body of Akun, a former correspondent for the weekly Yeniolke, was found hanging from a utility pole in Nusaybin with a note saying that he had been killed by the Kurdish Workers' Party (PKK) for being a traitor. Metin Alatas worked in Azadiya Velat, killed in Adana, Turkey on April 4, 2010. Alatas, aged 34, a reporter for the independent daily Azadiya Velat, was found hanging from a tree in an orchard in the Hadeli district of Adana. Metin Göktepe worked in Evrensel, killed in Istanbul, Turkey on January 8, 1996. Göktepe, a columnist for the left-leaning daily Evrensel, was beaten to death by police. He had been covering the funeral in Istanbul of two leftist inmates killed during a prison riot. His death prompted a public outcry amongst journalists. Musa Antar worked in Ozgorgondem, killed in Diyarbakir, Turkey on September 20, 1992. Antar, a prominent Kurdish writer who contributed columns to the daily Ozgorgondem and the weekly Yeniolke, was shot and killed in Diyarbakir. Naji Jarf worked in Hanta. Raqqa is being slaughtered silently, killed in Gaziantep, Turkey on December 27, 2015. Jarf, editor-in-chief of the independent monthly Hanta and the maker of documentary films on the militant group Islamic State, was shot in front of a building that houses Syrian opposition news outlets in downtown Gaziantep in Turkey. Namik Transi worked in Gharkhek, killed in Diyarbakir, Turkey on November 20, 1992. Tranki, who worked for the leftist weekly Gharkhek, was attacked, shot and killed by two or three unidentified individuals on a street in Diyarbakir. Nazim Babaglu worked in Ozgorgondem, killed in near Urfa, Turkey on March 12, 1994. Babaglu, Urfa correspondent for the pro-Kurdish daily Ozgorgondem, was presumed dead after disappearing in Sevrek, a small town near Urfa. Rohat Akhtas worked in Azadiya Velat, killed in Cizre, Turkey on January 30 to February 24, 2016. Rohat Akhtas, a news editor for the Kurdish language daily Azadiya Velat, was last heard from on January 30, 2016 in the southeastern Turkish town of Cizre. On February 24, local media reported that his body had been identified using DNA testing. The details of his death are unknown. Seyfettin Tepe worked in Yeni Politika, killed in Batman, Turkey on August 29, 1995. Tepe, a correspondent from the banned Yeni Politika newspaper in the southeastern city of Batman, was taken into custody on August 22. 4 days later, he was moved to the Bitlis Security Directorate. He died in a custody on August 29. His family was told that he committed suicide but rejects that official explanation. Agor Mumko worked in Cumhuriyet, killed in Ankara, Turkey on January 24, 1993. On January 24, 1993, Ogor Mamku, aged 51, a reporter and columnist for the Turkish daily Cumhuriyet, was killed by a car bomb while he was in his vehicle outside his home in Ankara. Yahya Orhan worked in Ozgur Gondam, killed in Gergos, Turkey on July 31, 1992. Orhan, a correspondent for the daily Ozgur Gondam in Gergos, Batman province, was killed in a morning attack by several gunmen while he was leaving a coffee shop in Gergos. Yasser Aktay, a freelancer, killed in Diyarbakir, Turkey on November 10, 1992. Aktay, a freelancer, was killed in Hani, Diyarbakir province. According to some reports, he was killed execution style during a raid by guerrillas of the Kurdish Workers' Party (PKK). Zahir al-Shurqat worked in Aleppo today, killed in Gaziantep, Turkey on April 12, 2016. Syrian journalist Zahir al-Shurqat died in a hospital on April 12, 2016 after a masked man shot him in the head on April 10 in a street in the southern Turkish town of Gaziantep.